listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Grey's Anatomy After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Grey's Anatomy After Show.
There it is, the theme song. I love it. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
Sing it.
No, well, do. I used to beatbox this intro. Bing is for doing, you guys, and we are doing it again. Grey's Anatomy After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Hey, I'm Jason J. Carter in the hot seat with my beautiful beauty queen co-host. Hello, ladies.
Hi, I'm Julie Partin.
And I'm Kellie.
And we're here again. First of all, let's talk about the weather in LA. Isn't it amazing? Finally, no more 90-degree weather. It's epic.
As of Saturday and Sunday, it was still 90 degrees, though. But just tonight, leaves falling down around us.
Yeah.
It's
We had
fall.
some rain today,
It's great.
which is very unusual. So
Great.
It was nice.
And we also had an amazing, life-changing. And that's my phrase of the month, because everything to me is life-changing, because I'm on this path of renewal and whatever. But tonight's episode of Grey's was so good. It was finally back to form, and really just gave us classic Grey's dramedy. I call it dramedy because there's comedy, but such good drama and so many great moments tonight. So
I would say my favorite episode of the season.
By far.
If not several seasons.
Yeah.
This is why you watch the show. To gasp, to cry and be embarrassed of it, to love your characters, and to come away wanting to talk to your friends.
It's just so powerful, so powerful. Tonight's episode was titled Beautiful Doom, and I don't know where they come up with these titles, but it works. And let's get into it, you guys. The surgeries, of course. Well, Meredith.
This was the very, very, very much anticipated, talked about episode where we did a parallel between Meredith's life and Cristina's life, and they hit it out of the park with this one.
I didn't think it was going to work, this whole tactic of having Cristina being in a whole different state, living a separate life, because like I said, for so many seasons, they've been inseparable. But it's genius how they're doing this, and how the writing is so equally good on both parts. Back at Seattle, Grace Mercy West, and at Mayo Clinic with Cristina. I'm going to be quite honest with you, ladies. I think Cristina her storyline this season is a lot more powerful than Meredith's. As far as what she's experiencing and what they're giving, because Meredith is definitely going with that whole I'm a mom, et cetera, et cetera. Christina's like, sleeping with her attending or her boss.
I'm sure there's some moms out there that say this is her most powerful season, though.
Right, because
like,
it's relatable.
Yeah.
It's relatable. But Meredith is faced with a tragedy that's really close to home. A lady's pinned under her car tonight, which was they've done the car thing before with the sinkhole.
This was a bicyclist pinned under her car.
She was,
And it was, harkening back to Lexi, who was pinned under a plane. I'm not laughing.
Yes, you are.
But who was pinned under a plane, and
it's not funny.
It's not funny at all. I'm just saying because it's being pinned under things is a typical thing for Grey's. Or sinkholes.
Yeah.
A rock fell on you. I was pinned under a rock, and it really hit home for her. Thank you. It really hit home for her, and so of course, Meredith's driving by, and like you said, her Mercedes. She's attending now, making all that coin, all that change, and she stops, sees this lady, and again, there we are in the hospital, and she's performing the surgery.
But her first surgery, it was evident from almost the beginning, the symbolism that she was feeling the emotional connection to this patient as if it was her sister. And the chief could tell, and the chief wanted her off of the surgery.
Cliche Grey's Anatomy. Put the scalpel down.
But the thing is the thing that was making me mad in the surgeries, I wanted her to say, you're not the chief anymore. Step away.
Yeah.
Because he was like, everybody hands up. Whatever. He was he's always their relationship is very weird because he tries to father her because of the relationship he had with her mother, and it's always kind of weird. So throughout the seasons, at least to me, I've always kind of seen that he tries to kind of parent her, and that's what I think he was doing here.
Of course.
Because I mean, and he was right. Of course, it was a little bit emotional. Couldn't save her sister, so she wants to do everything she can to save this patient because it was a very similar situation.
Sure.
But
and you think? Oh, go, Jules.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that we're going to talk about them at the same time since that's how the show set it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I think, first of all, getting back to the Chief and Cristina, again, I agree with you 100%,
The
Kellie.
Chief and Meredith.
I'm sorry. No, the Chief. Yeah, Chief. Listeners, I know my characters. I know my
Does
characters.
he? Does he know?
I know. No, but the Chief and Meredith, you would think that he would have identified with that because he tried to save Adele with messing with the clinical trial. She tried to save Adele with messing with the clinical trial. So it's like, give her a break, Chief, for real. And you already screwed up her childhood. You messed up her mother. Her mother went crazy because of you. Let Meredith have this one. And I think she probably. I would have let her do the surgery because she probably needed that closure, because I don't think, amidst all the drama that happened, plane crashing, you're back at work, it's hard to wrap your mind around all the things. Your life has changed dramatically.
Right, definitely.
So give her this moment to save this person's life and then address it. It's just always weird. But it's typical Grey's Anatomy cliche.
But I would not put Meredith's need for closure over the needs of the patient needing a good surgery. I thought Meredith was in a fine place, but if I was the Chief and I thought she couldn't emotionally handle it, I would probably have taken her out.
Right, but
too.
he's not the Chief.
That's true.
That's not.
He's
forget
just some
that.
random doctor.
He's not the
He's
Chief
just some
anymore.
other doctor trying to pull rank.
That's right. But he's
Yeah.
not the Chief anymore, and he was acting like that.
It's almost like he graduated high school and wants to come back and kick it. You know what I mean?
He's a super senior.
Right, super senior.
Which, and in a way, he was right. She was doing everything that she could. She was going a little bit overboard, but I think that maybe his concern more was, the interns were getting scared. She wasn't really teaching anymore. She was just all consumed on this one thing and not really communicating what needed to be done.
Right.
So therefore, it kind of maybe looked like she wasn't, all professional about it. But I don't think that he necessarily truly understands her, because a lot of the times when there's a crisis involving her, I think his reaction is always a little off.
True, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I do like seeing Meredith in a more commanding, powerful, because for 8 seasons they've been students almost. They've been under the thumb of Bailey and everyone above them, Teddy. So now seeing them actually be grown up, it's believable. They're wearing the dark blue scrubs. It's great. No more light blue scrubs. And I like seeing Meredith in an authoritative position. Also, she's a great teacher. Her humor and the way she attacks things and addresses her interns is very endearing, but also believable in the sense that she actually cares. And I'm glad that she's not going down the route of what I thought they were going to do, saying the same phrases, okay, when I run, you run, or she's very authentic, and that's why Meredith's been one of my favorite and one of the greatest characters on the show. Let's fast forward to cold ass Minnesota with Cristina Yang.
Yeah, there was snow all over the ground because they're at the Mayo Clinic.
Right, the clinic.
And so over there, she's also dealing with a Mrs. Doomsday. It's this woman that has all kinds of aneurysms the size of honeycombs. And so,
and honeycombs
I got a
are
bad
they
feeling
apples?
about this.
They're apples, right?
No, do you know what honeycomb? Actually, my mind went to the cereal.
Well, I went to an actual honeycomb, like from
The beehives.
the beehives.
The
little.
Did you say honeycomb or honey crisp?
I said honeycomb, right?
Oh.
They're
Yeah,
both so
honeycomb.
delicious.
Yeah.
I had a honey crisp apple from Vaughn's. I was like, that's a big ass aneurysm.
I think we digress.
Go.
She's got large aneurysms, people. That's all,
boom.
we are not going to say what they are the size of.
I always
Yes.
like a woman with large aneurysms.
God, her aneurysms were so large.
And so her and Dr. Thomas decide to go in and do the surgery, and her boss comes in and thinks that they are doing the surgery the wrong way. Tries to shut it down. Dr. Thomas totally throws off his authority and does it the way that he thinks it should be done. And the woman is fine, but right then they have this big man-to-man clash testosterone moment. You're too old, get out. You're too young, you'll never know as much as I do. That kind of stuff.
A cat fight.
And Dr. Thomas still didn't give in.
Right.
He's like, I'm not gonna resign. I'm not gonna go, do what you need to do, but I'm not giving it.
He stated when he was talking to Cristina in the snow that he was brought up to go down with the fight, and I see the similarities between him and Cristina because they're a lot alike. Christina's the same way. I'm not going down without a fight, and I think their relationship is just so awesome, and in a sense because I've had relationships with mentors like that they didn't understand me or not to make it personal, but they didn't understand me or get me, but they did. They just didn't let you know that they were me, and they're old in their older age. I was them at that age, younger, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think you just said anything. They were me, they were old. I was me, they were young.
They saw a lot of themselves in me at that age. There you go.
There
Sorry. And I think that this chemistry between the two, and it's sad that the events that happened later on the show happened, but the chemistry between the two is some of the best in television I've seen in a long time because it's really hard to get through to Cristina. She's so headstrong. She knows what she wants. She's brilliant. And she's a force. And it's when you're that talented, who can tell you anything? It's like Kanye West. He's so amazing. Who can tell him anything? But this guy connects with her, and I think that's what she needs. She needs a mentor.
I can't believe of all the people in the world that don't need a mentor, he went right to Kanye.
That's a whole other conversation.
Okay,
Right.
So Cristina is just being pulled back and forth between this man that she's grown to love and a father-type figure. Oh, you guys, I just realized another parallel that they were experiencing.
What's up?
Oh, Kanye! Oh. So, okay, Meredith with her father figure, who's not really her father, and Cristina with her father figure, who's not really her father.
Right.
I didn't catch that till right now.
They have severe daddy issues.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Severe.
So, that's what's happening over here. This is what's happening over here. They talk to each other, right?
Yeah, they're on the phone with each other, and we see them, discussing their patients. They're both worried about their patients. They don't want to go home. They can't sleep. And I thought it was really cute that Cristina was at the liquor store making an adult diaper bag. She's like, what do I put in it? I've already got tequila. And Meredith said, well, you always have to have backup, so it's just more tequila.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really
I
cute.
think their portrayal of this long-distance relationship is one of the most realistic and heartfelt I've seen on television. Because you wouldn't think that you could make a relationship seem that real and that heartwarming, cut the whole country apart, And it just makes me feel good because I live far from my family, and you do still have a relationship.
And they've been through so much together. They've experienced death and happiness and they've lived a lifetime together almost. It seems in these last 9 seasons of Grey's Anatomy that of course that relationship's going to stand the test. Those tests, long distance and time away. And again, and it's believable. That's what I like about Grey's and their relationship. It's believable. You can I have friends like that. The writers of Grey's are so clever and they're so genius in the way that they bring to life things that we would all experience. That's how we connect with the show so well because we can identify with some of the problems or the emotions that they're feeling. There's not a lot of shows on TV that can do that. And for the record, I love Cristina Yang. She's one of my favorite characters on the show because amidst all her just cold, steely exterior, I always say that she has a heart of gold. And she's so vulnerable, and within that vulnerability is just so sexy for some reason. I don't know. It does it for me. It does it for me, for real.
Yes, you say it over and over.
I know. Right?
Whoa, it's kind of hot in here.
So then they have this moment that we think they're getting old because they fall asleep on the phone, and they're like, what we need? 30-second dance party. And then they fall asleep. The 30-second dance party was the fun thing they used to do to relieve stress. They go crazy dancing. And so they wake up, and this was one of my favorite moments of the show because I felt like we got to experience what it must be like to be a doctor. They wake up from dead asleep, and they both immediately think at the same time, please be alive, please be alive, please be alive.
Right.
And I thought right then, how stressful must it be to be an ER doctor, somebody who constantly have other people's life in your hands?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Especially with everything else going on around them.
Yeah.
And Meredith having to worry about her daughter.
Yeah, her first thought wasn't even, where's Zola, where's Zola? Which it was like hot potato with that baby. Do you have her? Because Derek
at least we saw her this time.
Yeah, Derek was out of town, and she was being shoved around because she couldn't go to daycare.
Right. And then Bailey telling her to get it together, sweetie. I love the speech Bailey gave her. Look, if us women are going to run the world, girl, you need to stop your baby from crying and get an effing babysitter.
You can't let anybody hear it.
Yeah.
You can't let anybody hear the baby cry.
It's
only
code.
the women respond.
Yeah.
Right. It's really good. And
I really thought you were going to cue a baby crying.
30-second dance party.
Then you went with the
Let's talk about Bailey real quick, though. Do you guys feel that Bailey is kind of taking a back seat this season? I feel like the almighty, omnipotent Bailey is very demure this season for some reason.
Yeah,
Just in and out.
I don't know if I necessarily like it. But, I mean, that gives room for Meredith to be that authority figure and, for the residents who are now kind of the leaders to be leaders. So I get it. But it just doesn't feel
it's
right.
It's a natural life transition to move. I mean, once you become a mother and once you become older, but I don't feel like she's at that spot yet. I still feel like she's young and in the the prime of.
I think
like she shouldn't be feeling like she's out of the loop yet. She's still the commanding doctor at that hospital.
Right.
But they've just shoved her in the background.
But is she though,
this
or are they
season.
all now kind of on a even playing
Thank you,
field?
Kelly, because
I
went. They're all wearing the same scrubs, and it's really the natural progression. She's not menopausal.
They're making her seem like she's going through this journey of discovering who she is.
I think they're
and
just
needing self-confidence, but Bailey's still bad A, and I don't know why that they're making her.
Well, I think now they're just all on the same level, so she doesn't have to be that way with them anymore.
And she says it. They're not my responsibility anymore. They're all on the same level now. Bailey started out before them, so of course she's gonna grow them up. But now they're grown up. Her babies are all grown up, so they are on the same level. And that's what I love seeing. Towards the end of the episode, she gives Meredith. We can get about this now. She gives Meredith the Tucker tested approved babysitter roster because she needs it, and she's giving it to her because she now believes in Meredith. Meredith's arrived, and you could see that Bailey sees that Meredith, like, you're on point. Even with a couple episodes ago when she was doing that really tricky brain surgery and Derek was all supporting her, he was proud of her. Meredith has arrived. She's no longer the intern. She's no longer a resident. She's now an attending, and it's kind of like we're proud of her,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
She doesn't seem as fragile as she used to be, or as like skittish.
Right.
Like I think she's definitely seems to be more confident and all that. Even in this episode where she says, I used to be just a resident, and now I have to make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But even though we see a little bit of fear there, she's still. I would still be confident having her as my doctor, the way that she portrays herself, and she knows her stuff. She always has. She's always been very smart.
Right.
And really
it used to be
knowing
the older doctors talking about her, like that one has talent. If you could just get past her crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's gotten to a point where everybody has faith in her as a doctor.
Because her dark and twisty's a little bit subsided.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they got their happy. So get our happy ending. Get our happy ending. With her being a mom now, with her cliche Zimbabwe baby, Zozo, and the house and everything. It's come full circle. But I think honestly, getting back to Cristina, I wouldn't want Cristina to be married and to have that life won't fit Cristina.
Cristina doesn't want it, and she has proved that
over and over and over.
The abortion.
But this episode was my favorite because it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Her relationship with Dr. Thomas, and I don't know if you remember, like in the first couple episodes when we were doing this, I said I really wanted to see her more humanized.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I got to see with her relationship with Dr. Thomas. And he did train her in the sense where he got her to stop and pay attention to someone else. Stop and listen for a second. Let me help you. I already know that you're brilliant. There's no question there. But take a breath. Even to the point where he literally tells her, breathe. You stop breathing. And when you stop breathing, you stop thinking. Calm down.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's just such a great thing to watch that between the two of them, to the point where she cared a lot about him. She didn't want him to get fired, and she fought for him and all of that. But just to kind of see that different side of her with another professional, and not just with Meredith, or not just with somebody she's sleeping with, but with somebody she truly respects. We saw a little bit of that with her with Teddy, but it was still kind of.
But that had several different levels.
Yeah,
Teddy was in love with her.
Yeah, there were so many like awkward things. Like this was a true, genuine,
this was
professional
truly
respect.
platonic.
Mm-hmm.
And taking Cristina out of Seattle Grace and out of the whole. Have you ever noticed that when you are the company you keep?
Yeah.
And when you remove yourself from certain things, how you see things differently, things are a lot clearer, and people see you a little bit differently. Same thing with Cristina. Taking her away from from Seattle Grace Mercy West and bringing her to Mayo Clinic gave us a whole new insight to her and a whole new light. And we saw Cristina in a whole different environment because we didn't have her always going back to talk to Meredith. Even though they talked on the phone, but we didn't have the inundation of Kepner, Owen, Karev.
There's not all those other distractions.
It's her. It's very focused on her, and that's why we see her with such fresh eyes and clearly now. And I also have to say that I wasn't never feeling that relationship she was having with her boss anyways. First of all, he's not attractive.
Yeah,
Secondly, it's just awkward. Like, she needs some like chocolate back in her life, honestly, or something. Or she's got swag. Christina's got swag. Oh, what was that? Oh snap! There you go. Bring back Burke. That's who handled Cristina the right way.
Well, but before we move on, there was one subtle moment that I wanted to touch on there that I thought was important and will have implications further on in the season, is that when she couldn't find Zola, Meredith was searching for Zola, Owen had her. And he was experiencing true joy with that child.
Daddy moment.
Yeah. We just see that he loved it. He's a natural, and that's probably going to be a theme that we see later on in the season. He's not going to be able to get over the fact that he can't have kids with Cristina.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you
This
like
is a small
Grey's Anatomy and any other AfterBuzz TV show, you can go to iTunes and tell a friend and rate us. We love hearing about your comments. We love getting all your feedback. If we're amiss on something, or we did miss something, or you have some other inside gossip that we aren't aware of, tell us about it. We love hearing from our fans. Rate us. That's how we do here at AfterBuzz. That's how we roll here at AfterBuzz, and we love our fans. Mwah! Smooches! Back to the show.
Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to that crazy climax of a show. And whenever I was reading the tweets, somebody on the East Coast said, I just woke up, my whole family screaming at Grace. And I'm like, oh, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't figure out what, and boy, did it throw us all away.
Absolutely. I wasn't even expecting what happened.
Right.
I mean, I figured, but not like that fast, like just boom.
Okay, so they
So-
go back to their surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both having their surgeries independently of each other. And by the way, this was one of the grossest things I've ever seen on Grey's Anatomy.
The opening
Like
of
the
the cavity.
split screen of all the guts on both sides, and then Meredith's surgery, whenever she was with all of the different interns, and they're literally like digging in this body, all of them
That's
together.
just a pool of blood.
It didn't give me any confidence in the surgical procedure. Lift that, lift that, suck that. And they're all like diving in there, swimming in the blood. I can't tell.
But aren't you glad it wasn't a bowel obstruction or a perfed abdomen or something?
or the same, yeah,
the same
thing over and over.
ailments every day. But that
I just didn't. It's making me sick to my stomach thinking about just
Grace does a great
that punch
job
bowl of blood. Ew.
of balancing, though, real medical.
Exactly. I could never be a doctor.
My
Ever.
brother's a doctor and he loves it. They do a great job of balancing real medical procedures and real medical terminology in the show, because it's hard to incorporate that and make it seem like this is more about a show about medicine and surgeons and surgery, and also about the other drama going on in the show. So you got to give Grace kudos for that, because what they did is exactly what happens in a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
know?
moment, though, when Meredith was under so much pressure in the surgery and trying to make this girl stay alive, why'd they leave her with 3 interns? I was wondering why they didn't have another surgery. There was a lot of people missing from this episode.
Right.
Like, Kellie wasn't in it, Arizona
Well,
wasn't
Kellie was in it for a minute.
Yeah.
I think they all had surgeries that they kind of
Like, why
explained that,
couldn't
like,
Alex
everybody had
help?
a
Nobody
surgery or
could
something.
help with the surgery.
Well, if they didn't have a surgery, they're babysitting.
Right.
So-
Zozo.
I just felt like she just didn't really assemble a crack team there.
Yeah.
Yeah, her team was just me and these 3 people who I.
Well, but I like how she was like, "Don't panic. It's
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna find this. Just do this. Don't move. Do this." And she still didn't freak out. And then eventually, she finds where the leak is coming from. They fix it, and she clamps it down. And I love that she says, "Okay, does anybody know what we do next?"
Right. And then I was like, oh great. It's one of those moments where where she gets tested in the first episode.
Yeah.
They ask what would cause pneumonia in a post-op patient, and Meredith was the only person who knew, and like none of the interns knew. I was like, it's probably gonna be some like terminology like C. diff. She's like, we have a 30-second dance party.
And she starts dancing, and they're all like, "What are you doing, Medusa?" And she's like, "Dancer, you're fired."
and then everybody starts dancing.
Even the no-name anesthesia scrub nurse.
Oh yeah,
Scrub nurse.
we love that.
And the
We love that.
anesthesiologist.
Old lady.
dancing. Everybody was dancing.
Hilarious moment.
Great stuff. Yeah, and again, human moments on Grey's. Great writing. Like, who thinks of this stuff? It's just it's always so perfect. It's like, yes, I would totally do that with my friends. I would totally be that person. All their corny antics and stuff just work. Going on to Cristina in Minnesota.
In the Mayo.
Doing the surgery that they didn't have permission to do.
Right,
Right.
so they decided to buck the system, go against the chief orders, and do the surgery that Dr. Thomas thought was right. And Cristina agreed with him that it was right, but she really didn't want him to do it because she didn't want him to lose his job.
Right.
It was more about she's sticking up for her friend, having her friend's back. And she tells the chief, look, I can't do the surgery. Can you do the surgery? He's the only person who can do the surgery. And the chief is so hell-bent on getting rid of this guy. He's like, fine. Whatever it takes to get rid of this dude, I could care less. He's so cocky and so arrogant about it. And you could just see right then and there, Cristina almost felt a little defeated, but you could see their relationship just crumble like it's a wrap. Like, I'm done with you. It's over. And
That's fine. Nobody cared about it anyway.
Right. He was just so awkward. It's such an awkward casting of that guy. Every time I see him, I thought Rex from Desperate Housewives.
Me too. I didn't think it was that bad of casting. I mean, he fit the role of mindless corporate guy that she just ended up with. Yeah.
And, how many people is she around? She's in this one area. It's either the old guy or this guy. So,
it's like, damn it. Where's the sexy chocolate? There's none.
Slim Pickens over there in Minnesota.
We are not in Seattle anymore. So they're doing the surgery, and we got to see a sweet relationship between this patient and her husband, by the way, who were very natural, granola types. Yeah. And I always love it. I feel like there's more drama around the surgery, and you're more invested when you know that there's loved ones out in the lobby waiting on the edge of their seats to hear the results.
Yeah. And of course, Meredith saves the day, walks out, says, your patient's going to live. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. Meredith doesn't walk. The lady wakes up. The interns come and get her and say she wakes up, and, she starts talking to her. But then you see Meredith really upset, though. Like, you always can tell when Ellen Pompeo's going to cry, because she doesn't really, like, her face, like, does this weird thing, and she's, like, her lips are just so, if I was, like, inebriated, I could probably do it. But, she's realizing that this lady lived, and but Lexi didn't.
Right.
That she saved her, and it was, like, just making the question, like, my sister died, and you're here, it was kind of unfair. And she was grieving for her sister, but was like, damn, why couldn't have this been Lexi?
Yeah.
And really, why couldn't it have been Lexi? Why did we have to kill off such a beauty queen? So lame. So lame. And then Cristina, the surgery, the moment of truth, the pièce de résistance of tonight's
they're
episode.
in the middle of the surgery, right? And
they
start
have the
having
cutest banter.
It was cute and heartfelt, but it was really too emotional for a surgery for me. It was
But that's
stressful.
when they have. But if you notice throughout the season, that's when they have some deep conversations.
For sure.
I know. A lot of the times when they're in surgery, that's when they have their conversations.
I think that's why it bugs me. I want my doctors focusing on my abdomen when it is open.
But but like I said, my mom and my brother are medical professionals. You have to understand they're in these surgeries for hours on end, and they do this all the time. And it becomes the same way as we're hosts. We can talk about anything. We have it's second nature for us. Same thing with surgery. They're so used to doing it, and it's so like the back of their hand, and that's how they stay present, by talking to each other. Of course, they're into your surgery. I mean, if there's they play music at like loud music during surgeries, because that's how they focus. It's so weird and awkward. So I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, but I like that they were talking about the surgery. He was talking about how she was the surgeon of her generation, which was a great compliment.
And he was talking about how he felt that it would be an honor to him to be known as a mentor and trainer to her. Like, he would consider that an honor to have been able to teach her something, because he thought she had that much potential.
It was a very Superman moment. You know how when Jor-El tells Kal-El when he's going to Earth, you'll be their savior, you'll draw inspiration from the sun. It was just that. He was basically telling her, like, you are almost like God's gift to surgery, and thank you. And you're brilliant, but you don't know the magnitude, the depth of your brilliance.
Exactly.
And it was and just for him to be so genuine and so, I don't know, just telling about that was epic for Grace, because we've always known Cristina is great. We've always known she's
and she reminds everybody how great she is.
But
this was different
to hear it from someone who was as dry and not as easy to like at first was great.
Who's someone who admittedly did not have much friends or family, because he was so focused on being the most amazing surgeon. And so while this was going on, while he was giving this motivational speech, we were actually joking while we were watching the episode, bringing back all the different moments of like, Simba, you're more than you become. And like all these different moments. Sensei. Or like the Yoda passing on. It was like definitely the passing of the baton from the great to the next great.
Right.
Because he felt he was done. You could tell that he was just like, okay, fine. When they were talking outside, he's like, I don't care. I'll go. I'll leave, but I'm not going to go without a fight. He basically knew his time was up.
Right.
And he just didn't want to be forced out.
He's going to go out strong.
Yeah, and so he knew his time was done. So they're doing the surgery, and lo and behold, of course, in
like
typical
a freaky, scary, teary moment, his face just goes completely blank.
He freezes.
Yeah, and he doesn't even drop anything. He just sort of looks her in the eye with terror in his eyes and just stays that way for a little bit. Eventually, Cristina looking back at him, we know something's going on. I didn't think it was this. And drops his tools, collapses to the ground, and had one
has
of the
this
most
crazed, frozen
Right.
look on his face.
realistic
I mean,
dead
it was
guy
insane.
open mouth faces ever.
Emmy.
I mean,
Guest star. I would not be surprised if he got nominated for a guest star
Emmy.
Emmy.
No, I mean that was scary. Look, like he had the frozen face where like this guy's gone.
Yeah, done. And are we, so consensus is massive stroke.
That's what our guess
I don't think it was a
is.
heart
Maybe
attack.
a heart attack.
No.
I don't know. That moment was really, really hard
Well,
for
you
me.
couldn't really tell. It just was.
Because he would have been, oh, my left arm, oh. But
You
I think it was a
that's
stroke.
how it's portrayed on television. Nobody
But,
actually
I mean,
knows how it is.
I don't know.
Whatever it was, he was struck by sudden death, and that's just terrifying because a lot of people have experienced that in real life. And I feel like it
Well-
was a really close to the moment of how it must be to look in somebody's eyes as they're looking into the other person's eyes, telling them I'm not okay.
Well, how much death has poor Cristina
I
just
know.
dealt with
During
and
surgery.
During surgery, and then she's having to watch this, and then jump in and register back to what she's doing because you see the big blood splurt of
Oh,
where
yeah, that was-
when he drops it. So she has to go get it together, finish this surgery while she's worrying about her friend.
And she's praying. I mean, not to
Yeah.
go all deeply
Oh,
religious
yeah,
or go
yeah,
all Mitt
that
Romney
was
on you guys,
crazy.
but she's praying like, God, please,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was just, again, a turning point, a moment, like a special moment on Grey's that rarely happens where you're just like, wow. I mean, a first for Grey's. To see Cristina pray and ask God for guidance, I mean,
Like for him to breathe, breathe, please, God,
Yeah.
breathe.
And
mind-blowing.
I hate it whenever they write somebody on to the show of Grace to kill them off. But for some reason, I didn't see this one coming, and I was
Nope.
really incredibly invested in this relationship. And the death caught me off guard and made me emotional.
Yeah.
Like it has in a while. For a long time, I
Yeah.
haven't felt that attached to a death in Grace.
I definitely teared up when that was
And the
happening.
monologue he gave as they're rolling his body away and Christina's walking.
Oh, stop! We're
This
serious
is a
here.
serious moment. Wow. I mean, normally
you
I'm all
finish
for
our
the
serious
antics,
moment.
but this was intense. I want, your homework is to go watch the show again.
If you can come back and tell us that you
We're
did
gonna
not
quiz you.
even tear up, not even a little water.
But the monologue, again, him
Yeah.
reciting to her, it was almost like a Danny Duquette moment, but done right. He's like telling her again.
Yes. He didn't have to physically be there. It was her remembering what he had told her.
And it was God, I wish I could conjure words to describe how I felt watching that and just how great it was, because it was just so powerful. I mean, just the moments, guys, the moving moments of this show that are missing from television. This is why Grey's is so awesome, because of this. That 35 seconds of television did it for me for the whole year thus far. Seriously. And just, again, the way he was talking to her and telling her how great she is, and how it meant something to her, because she's, like you said, Kelly, she knows she's amazing.
Right.
She knows she's sick and fierce, ferocious.
But this was different, and just for telling her, don't try to make friends. You're not going to. There's
You're
no
a loner.
friends here for
Just
you.
right.
People are going to be intimidated by you. People are going to be jealous of you, but you just have to deal with it. And don't feel sorry for them, and don't try to explain yourself. This, basically, you are who you are. You're great, and everyone will see that eventually. And it was amazing.
Amazing. So good. So good.
I was so sad, though.
Of course you were.
I don't think I've been that sad since Izzy was around.
Oh.
Wrong sound effect.
I was wondering. That
Yeah,
was
my bad.
bizarre.
Totally.
Fired.
Yeah. Sound
Thank God
effect
you're
fail.
good looking, because if you were ugly, I would have to.
Why, thank you, Jason.
Security. Security.
So Cristina has to go out and share the good news with this guy. Was it her husband? I believe it was.
It
her
was the
husband,
guy, yes, the
Yes,
husband.
they're
And
her.
the granola family.
who was obviously so relieved to get to have his wife back.
Mhm.
But you could tell Cristina was done. That was a moment in her life that she was going to change the course that she was on and do something new.
Yeah.
She was just like that confused, and it had that much of an impact on her.
Mhm.
And I think when she's walking down the hall, and of course, all the doctors are lined up. Oh my gosh, what happens? Douchebag chief doctor is there.
And he reaches out to her
And
to
she's
shake
like,
her
no.
hand, and she just snubs
No,
him.
she
Yeah,
gives
what
him
kind
like
of
a
what kind
Like
of
she like
consolation
elbow,
is a
like
handshake?
shoulder, like shoulder
shoulder
elbows
bumps
him.
him, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
She's like,
hardcore.
don't even. I don't even want to be anywhere near
Love
that
her.
hand.
Hot. Damn. She's such a winner.
She was so over it. She's
Yeah.
like, get off me.
So
Right.
we go back to Seattle, and I don't think we're missing anything, but
No.
Meredith was in her home,
Zola was safe and happy.
Yeah.
safe and sound. Her fever had broke, and
like,
she's
"Please
walking
don't wake
around,
up."
and the doorbell rings, and I think I was expecting something horrible.
Or
Because-
maybe, I don't know, maybe Burke back from the dead, or Izzy at the door.
No, I was expecting something horrible,
Yeah.
like Derek, something bad, right?
Right.
And so she's like, no, Zola's already asleep. Doorbell rings, goes. It was Cristina.
She got on.
Ah!
Yes, Cristina is back in Seattle. I
It
love
took some liquid convincing to get her on there, but she made it
She did it.
happen.
And and you know what? Again, it was a moment that you were happy to see, and it wasn't like, oh, I knew that was
We
coming.
weren't just happy to see. We literally cheered
Yeah.
Yes, and I like that
because
she
they were
says,
back.
"I drank the tequila from my diaper bag. I don't even know my own name right now."
And then what I thought was really odd timing, but Meredith finally, for the first time, I guess, dealt with it. Said right then, "Lexi's dead." I thought it was such a strange
Well,
moment.
I
No, that's
think-
happened before though on Grey's.
No, but I don't think it was strange because I think it was they each faced their fear. She didn't want to live. She didn't want
So
to
she
face the
faced the
fact that her
fear.
sister was dead.
Okay.
Christina didn't want to fly. The fear of having to get back on a plane and do that. She faced it. She was there, and then I think at the same time, she was
She faced her fear of
expressing
saying that.
and just accepting it.
It was just
Well-
such a
Just
great moment
accepting
that
it.
her best friend was back. I wish she had held that.
And also,
Revelation. Revelation for us
I don't know.
2
For me,
seconds
I
later.
think that's what makes it more meaningful because they are best friends, and the fact that Christina looked at her and she got it.
And she could say that to somebody.
But she understood
Yeah.
it. You know, that's a real friendship.
And you know what? Christina just basically said. She didn't even say
well, no,
much.
she
She's
said,
like,
"Yeah, everybody's dead."
Yeah.
Meaning what she just went through. Her friend
Yeah.
just died.
yeah,
You know.
She's like, yes, but I'm here.
that moment, but not to be a downer, but again, when George died, Christina had just finished getting it on with Owen, and she's like, George died. Okay, he died last season, Christina, and now you're just, you're snapping to that, And the monologue was, there's moments that'll take your breath away, and she goes, George died. Of course, great writing from Grace. But tonight was like, tonight was definitely believable, and you were relieved to see Christina back. I was relieved to see Christina back, but you felt bad for Meredith because, I've never lost a loved one that close to me, thank God, and I'm very fortunate to have everyone, but I do have friends who've lost close friends and family members, and I can only imagine what the grieving process is and the hole that's left in your life and in your heart of someone that's gone. And you need everyone in your corner, and it was just nice to see that connection again, and it was like perfect. Like you said, tonight's episodes gave us everything and really drove home the reason why we're such super fans of this show. There's everything. There's emotion, there's humor, there's some stupid stuff. There wasn't as much filler this episode
There's
either.
melodrama, but there's extreme suspense. Yeah,
Yeah.
we loved
Yeah.
Great. 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. Great family
Absolutely.
fun. Great family fun.
it.
Hashtag clueless. So, let's move on to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes. Well, I was doing my homework today, ladies, and I was reading that not only did we touch on last week that Grey's got picked up for 24 episodes this season, ABC ordered 2 final episodes of season 9, I'm sorry, instead of the 22. That's a great thing. But there will be a wedding coming up.
Yeah.
That there will be wedding bells chiming for people of Seattle, Grace, Mercy West. They didn't say who or when, but it's going to be coming up in the
In predictions, we're each going to say who we think it is.
Okay. And a
Okay.
couple of episodes, so that's going to be pretty cool. And also, Avery got married in real life. Jesse Williams got married.
I thought that was a while ago, actually.
Well, I know, but we're reporting about it now because
Oh,
people
okay.
are talking about it. And
Oh.
apparently, like maybe his wife isn't a looker.
Doesn't matter to me. Well, I'm happy they're happy.
There
I
you go.
honestly haven't seen a picture yet.
Although,
Yeah.
let's be very honest about this. It's hard to be a looker next to Jesse Williams.
This
Yeah.
is true. He's a very, very beautiful person.
I guess. It doesn't do it for me.
Well, other news and gossip, a little unrelated, but sort of, and very relevant to our generation. They are bringing back Boy Meets World. Disney is doing a reboot, and it has been rumored that it will have the same cast with Corey and Topanga as parents, although now Corey has turned into the history teacher.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
and they have a
Wow.
13-year-old daughter in his class. But the reason that it relates to the show, and I was going to say this before tonight's episode, Dr. Thomas may be returning to the series
Phoebe?
too.
Mr.
Yes.
coming back.
So I was going to say that and then predict that he was going to be written off the show. Happened before. But anyway, we may get to see him again on television soon since we loved him so much on this series.
Nice.
Well, that's good.
Very nice.
Well, that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. And now for your AfterBuzz Grey's Anatomy After Show predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You know, honestly, ladies, I don't really have any predictions as far as.
Who do you think the wedding's going to be?
I think it's gonna be, honestly, I think it's gonna be some interns.
What?
Seriously, 'cause I don't know. I don't want it to be Kepner.
I'm going to
and
go with
Avery.
Bailey.
Bailey?
I think it's Bailey's
Maybe.
wedding.
I think it's Dr. Weber.
Whoa,
with
you think
Jackson's mom.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Possibly.
that's what I think.
They're hot together. They're
Mhm.
hot together. She's a urologist on the show.
Mhm.
Why would it? Why would it?
You said this
I know, like,
Yeah.
I'm still wondering, like.
But I
why-
think that it
still
could be something where
curious
he's
about
going
it.
to, divorce, get a divorce, and
Well, I think Adele. I honestly feel like Adele's gonna die.
Yeah,
Well-
sometime this season. That's probably a good prediction.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
she's like not gonna, or she's gonna deteriorate so bad that she can't just remember who she is, and then he's just gonna,
Right.
like it is what it is.
right.
And then also next week, looks like we're gonna have a really, really fun episode because they will be talking about how to teach the new intern stuff and lots of references to the idiot interns and how are they ever going to make it. We're excited
And their
about
new
it.
names.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
because Christina's back. So
Yes.
she's gonna-
Oh,
The
how are
pig's
they gonna
back.
react
Yeah,
to
how
Christina?
they're gonna
That's
react
gonna be
to that.
hilarious
So that's
to
gonna
see.
be fun to watch. for
Cannot
sure.
wait. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jason J. Carter. You can find me on Twitter at JJCForever or on Facebook at the Jason J. Carter fan page.
I'm Julie Partin, and you can find me on Twitter at Julie Partin, JuliePartin.
And you can find me on Twitter at Kellie with an IE079.
Guys, next time. Deuces.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.